Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Welcome to another edition of Around the Turnbuckle. My name is the Big Alboski. He, to my left, is Professor Keith, and below us is our special guest, JT Funk. And we will get to JT Funk in a minute, but we are starting our show, as you just saw, with a tribute to our fallen brother, Kyle McDevitt. Kyle McDevitt, we love you. Kyle McDevitt, we miss you. Kyle McDevitt, the world misses you. Anybody that came in contact with Kyle McDevitt feels exactly the way I feel right now, which is robbed of a great person, a great man, a great brother, a great father, a great colleague. Professor, I'm going to let you talk before I run out of wind.
Yes, I mean, I met Kyle through my shoot job at Walmart. You meet people, you meet a lot of different people working at the same job as long as I have. Kyle came in as what we call a support manager. So he was one of the higher up, pretty much as high as you can get on the hourly food chain before you go into the assistant manager program. His brother did. Kyle didn't. Kyle was one of the realest people you would ever meet. Never let the title go to his head. Never really kind of acted like what you would think of when you would think of support manager. Kyle's heart was big. Kyle's heart was maybe bigger than he was. He was somebody that was always kind to everybody. Anybody he met, you could instantly be his friend as long as if he said hello, you said hello back, and he would engage you in conversation. I really was looking forward to having Kyle on the show with us. He was getting back into wrestling, something he loved that he was kind of falling out of love with, which is something that was happening to me and Alan as well before we started this show. And one of the things about that I thought was so great was I would get to know Kyle better through doing that. And we would get to hang out more and we would get to be closer. And that's where I agree with Alan. You know, I got robbed of that. He got robbed of that. We all got robbed of that. And he's gone way too soon. You know, you think there's always more time. And I hope that's a lesson that everybody takes away from this, is that if you've got somebody you love and you haven't told them you love them lately, you might want to go do that now. Well, maybe after the show. Maybe finish this first. But, you know, right after, go and tell the people you love that you love them, because you never know when it's going to be the last opportunity to do that. So love the Kyle's family. Anything you guys need, if I can do anything, please let me know.
Well said. Facebook user, hello, nice to meet you. You need to go back out of the live feed. You need to hit that StreamYard link so we can see who you are. Of course, anybody who's watching this and you want to throw comments my way, I will put up as many as possible concerning Kyle. Any comments you had from Kyle? Prince Shango, JT, you know him. He commented, "I see you, JT. Time to wake up. My lost brother, Kyle." Knew the truth. Rest in power, brother. The only thing I'm going to say about Kyle, and I could talk all night about Kyle because he was my cousin. and as well as my brother. We grew up together. I'm not going to talk about him all night because I really want to get into JT and his career. But this one hurts. That's all I can really say. This one hurts. I can only imagine how his immediate family are feeling, because I'll tell you right now, I feel it as though I lost my brother, Bobby, back in 2012. I feel that same hurt. I cried for the past day and a half. I was JT, Funk, and the boys in CCW gave me a welcome distraction last night with great entertainment, great wrestling. You guys were off the hook, JT. You guys were awesome. It was a thrill to be there live. It was me, TJ, and the professor here had a ball, and it didn't make me forget about Kyle, but it did distract me for like a good 3 solid hours. And I thank you, and I thank Rob Noxious and everybody else that wrestled last night and put on a free show outdoors. We had a blast, man, and it was so great to see you guys live, and it was so great to meet everybody. Rest in peace, Kyle. This one's for you, brother. I love you, and I'll see you again soon. JT Funk, What's going
on, man?
My man. How are you feeling? You wrestled last night against the General, right? If I right, it was the General.
Yes.
And then you trained all day today. So how's the bod feeling, man?
Listen, mentally, I feel really good. Physically, I'm not really there, but I think the mental aspect is what keeps me going. So I'm all right.
Yeah, man. Your match last night was good. Really good. I was very, very, very impressed. Not just with your fluidity in the ring, but also that drop kick. I mean, dude, you have a vertical of what, 6 or 7 feet high? I mean, you get up there, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and I was always a Dolph Ziggler fan, and he kind of inspired me in the beginning of my career. Even before I started wrestling, I was just like, wow, I just was so mesmerized by his drop kick. And I'm like, wow, I rewind it back and be like, wow, and just keep watching it. And when I got into the business, I'm like, man, I would love to have a beautiful drop kick, kind of like Dolph. And then when I learned how to do one, I started perfecting it. And then I hit it on the show, and somebody was like, that's a really good drop kick, man. You should keep doing it. I was like, whatever. And then I just kept doing it and I just kept getting more compliments after compliments. And I'm like, okay, I got something going. And I just kept it up, and I just kept improving on it, and just kept, practicing and get it better,
So take us back to the beginning, because you told me last night that you've been in the business now about 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Where did that passion for this business come from? What did you used to watch when you were young? Who inspired you?
Me and BJ Walker got a lot in common. Let me just say that. You guys just interviewed BJ, and The Rock was the guy that I first saw on TV. And it was phenomenal. I didn't even see him wrestle yet. I just saw him had his Versace shirt on and just talking. And I was just like, wow, who is this guy? And I was just, wow. And I told my grandma, and I was like, hey, I got this new thing that I like to watch. And I was like, it comes on at 8:00. Can you remind me? Because I'll, be outside playing. And, she, hey, you got to come in and watch wrestling. That's kind of how it all started for me. And then I just was following The Rock, and then I saw Stone Cold, and I saw The Undertaker, and so forth and so forth. And then, hey, that's me. Is this signed still?
This is a signed autograph from my man. When he becomes famous, I hope he remembers me.
Alan was such a fanboy, he got someone else to get the autograph for him.
Yep. Him. But no, man. When I met you after the show, man, you are down to earth. You are real. You are humble. You are happy to get credit. You are happy to get criticism, good or bad. You're in the game. You're in it to win it, man. And I love the passion you have. The passion you have for the business. Keith, you got any opening questions for my man?
Yeah, and I mean, a couple of things I just want to point out there. We talk about his drop kick, and I mean, that was a beautiful drop kick. That was a professional restaurant quality drop kick right there. And I don't know if every fan knows this, but the drop kick actually used to be a finish way back in the day. People used to use the drop kick as a finish. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that JT's got a drop kick. If you haven't seen it, go on YouTube. I'm sure you can find some clips. That's a drop kick that I would believe that, like, yeah, that could put a motherfucker to sleep.
Hi, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Hi, Mark. Shout
I
out.
actually just met Mark yesterday for the first time, and it was amazing.
So did I.
Yeah, that was the first
had
time
him on the
we actually
show.
met him face to face.
We had him on the show, but face to face, we met him last night.
Wow.
Go ahead, Keith.
Yeah, and I mean, also at the 5-year mark too. That's usually when the old schoolers would say, you know, you're not a rookie anymore, and you kind of found yourself. And that was one of the things I loved talking about you too, is you were saying you just kind of found yourself finally with the JT Funk character. You've been experimenting, and now you feel like you're comfortable, and that comes across in the ring and in your work too. That you're comfortable, you love what you're doing, and you are
Thanks, Mom.
that person. You are JT Funk.
Right.
And that's so great. That's so important.
And I did a Facebook post, maybe I think it was a couple days ago. I don't know if you guys saw it. It was in reference to meeting Shane Douglas for the first time.
Yes,
And
I saw that.
Yeah, and
Talk about that.
Yeah, and so he was at a show that I was at, and I had just started the JT Funk character, and it was maybe like my 3rd or 4th show, you know. So I was still like, I didn't know too much of anything, and I just got, you know, obviously with me being in the business for a couple months, I was frustrated because I'm like, man, like, you know, I'm thinking I should have a gimmick already. I'm thinking I should have all this stuff figured out, and you know, so he was like, hey, he did a seminar. He was like, if you guys have any questions after the seminar, I'll be here all night. Ask me. Feel free to ask. And I was like, I was trying to think of a question to ask him that was worth his time, you know, because I didn't want to waste his time. So I said, hey, Shane, I said, I have a question for you. He's like, oh, shoot. I said, how did you come up with your franchise Douglas gimmick, the franchise gimmick? Because I know that's his most infamous gimmick, and that's the gimmick everybody refers back to. You know what I mean? So I go, how did you come up with that gimmick? He said, I want you to think of your 5 favorite wrestlers of all time. He said, you don't have to tell me, but I want you to just basically think of it, right? Think of the way that they move, the way that they talk, the way that they do everything, right? And he was like, take from those guys. You know what I mean? Take from those guys. And I'm like, it sounds good, but okay, if that's how you got your gimmick, okay. So he was just listing all the gimmicks that he, you know, took from all his favorite wrestlers. So I was like, okay. And it didn't sink in my brain until about 2 years later, and it started to click. And I'm like, wow, okay, I see what he's talking about.
Awesome, man. Yo, I got a comment from my son.
Mm-hmm.
My son says he thinks JT Funk should come down to the ring with the Funkadactyl.
Oh, for the love of God. The boy's a troll. I'm sorry.
He's trolling you.
The boy trolls everyone. He trolls us all the time. He finds something I don't like, and he just goes like, I can piss Uncle Keith off. Yay! Like, that's what
I
he
had a
does.
quick question before I go and answer that.
Go ahead.
I'm getting people asking me, how do they join the lot? I told everybody how to join it, but I'm still getting messages. I don't see it. Where is it at? Kind of thing. I see it pop up on my phone.
They can search Around the Turnbuckle. If anybody's watching this, you can search Around the Turnbuckle on Facebook. You can search it on YouTube, but if you're on YouTube, you won't be able to comment. And make sure you hit that StreamYard link, or I won't be able to see your name when you comment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I believe this is like native to Facebook Live, not YouTube, right?
Yeah.
That's
okay.
the problem.
Because I was thinking if you tag me in it, they'll be able to see that I'm tagged.
And if you shared my personal page to you, they should be able to click. They should be able to click on the StreamYard link first, and then click join. And if they join, I'll be able to see their comments.
Okay. Because I'm like, people should be here by now. But
yeah. All I got so far is the normals right now.
Got you. In regards to that Funkadactyls question, I think they need to come out with me instead of me coming out with them. If that makes sense.
True. Yes.
I think so too, because the valet should be the garnish, you know. And I don't want to. Obviously, I want to be very careful, you know, in this day and age, that somebody's going to go, he's being sexist. No, I'm not being sexist. If you're a valet, if you're a manager, you're the garnish. You need to get your guy that you're with, your talent over. You can get over a little bit yourself, but especially with what the Funkadactyls were supposed to be, they should be the garnish. and you should be the steak. You know.
You know what's crazy, because maybe like 2 years ago, and I had this was around the time I just found the JT Funk character, and this promoter was like, you know, what do you think about me putting a really hot female with you? I said that's cool and everything. However, I said I come out with full of life and full of energy. So if she don't match that energy, if she's not more energetic than me, it's not going to work. I'm outshine her, and I don't want to do that. You know?
It's because JT isn't me, says Prince Shango.
What was that in reference to?
I believe maybe the Funkadactyls thing. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Well,
I didn't see Shango with any girls last night. I saw Shango with a lot of guys. I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Yeah. I'm just saying. And I want to see that dropkick battle too, because if Shango can get up even half as high as JT, he may be the greatest wrestler in the history of the world.
Yeah. Did you catch that comment there, JT?
No, I didn't. I missed it. I'm sorry.
Let me go back to that. Yo, Shango put dropkick versus dropkick. JT knows the truth.
Okay. So the truth is, my dropkick is better.
Yes.
And no one else dropkicks comes even
close.
You know why? You know why mine is better than everyone's? Because I practice. You know, a lot of people practice and they're doing it incorrectly, but I'm practicing the correct way to make sure every time that I hit that drop kick, it's going to be picture perfect every single time.
Woodle, nobody cares that you're eating Takis.
Oh God, the social media generation.
That's my daughter.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you keep seeing Natalia W pop up like this, that's my daughter. Yo, Keith, you're getting threatened. I'm coming for you next.
Well, that's what happens when I tell the truth, I guess.
Well, you had to run your mouth about his drop kick.
I want to see it. Look, he brought it up. He brought the drop kick into the conversation. So I feel like you're challenging somebody to battle on around the turnbuckle. We'll endorse that.
Yeah,
we're all for that.
I'm down. I don't know if he's ready to lose though, but I'm ready to win.
Wow. So so you get in. What was your first like match in the ring? Like you 5 years ago, what was your first match in front of a crowd?
Actually, I didn't start as JT Funk. I wrestled against my trainer. He believed in me so much, and he was like, you put in all the hard work. At this time, I only been in the business before I had my first match, it was probably about maybe 11 months. And he was like, "You're ready. I think you're ready." And I'm like, I don't know. I was just nervous as hell. Looking back on it, I don't think I was ready, but he thought that. And he was like, "I want to wrestle you." And I'm like, "Man, this is huge." Obviously, if your trainer, who's my trainer at the time, he was in the business for about, I think, 15 years at that time, and he just believed in me that he wanted to have his first match. I mean, my first match against him. So I thought that was huge, but I was so nervous because I'm like, can you imagine going out there wrestling your trainer and messing up? You know what I mean? I was so nervous, but I'm like, nah, maybe 2 months. I was the only guy I think that was pushing off my debut. Most guys are like, I'm ready, and they might not be ready. I didn't think I was ready. I was nervous as hell, and I wrestled my trainer, and it was cool. It's my least favorite match because I just wasn't there psychology wise, and I just forgot a whole bunch of stuff, and I was just so happy to be out there. I was energetic. I was able to get the crowd involved, but I just forgot everything. It was just yeah.
Show me somebody that loves their first ever match.
This next comment is very, very important. All right. This is the daughter of Kyle McDevitt.
Oh, wow.
Hi, Veronica.
Hi, Veronica.
Love you, sweetheart. Our prayers, our heart is with you, sweetheart. Thank you for remembering him. No, thank you for your father.
Yep.
What we got to say about
never
that?
Forget him.
And I just want to touch something on that because I've never met Kyle.
Yeah.
When I watched the live, he seemed like a really knowledgeable individual about wrestling. So I automatically respected that about him. But yeah, it's just unfortunate.
Big Eagles fan.
No. I would like him because I'm an Eagles fan too. So
that's my boy. Yes.
But yeah, so it's unfortunate. I'm very sad that I didn't get a chance to meet him and talk to him.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. Victor chimes in. Hi everyone. Hi Victor.
Hey Victor.
Victor, hit me up, man. I want you on this show, man. We got to talk some Shango.
Hey, this is not fair, man. My people can't join, man. This is not fair.
What's going on? Yeah, are you still getting messages?
I had got a text message, but that was from somebody I texted about the live. So
tell them, listen. Tell them they have to search my name. Don't search around the turnbuckle. Search my name.
Mm-hmm.
Search Alan William Amy II, and click on the StreamYard thing, and then click the join it.
Yeah. Because
I won't be able to see them at all. The only comments I'm getting are the regulars who know what they're doing, have been on before.
Right.
I had to walk Veronica through it on my phone. That's why I kept looking down at my phone. Because I wanted Kyle's daughter on.
Gotcha.
TJ wants to help. Hello, TJ.
Hi, TJ.
Shout out to TJ Spitter in the house. He was at the show last night. What's up, brother?
TJ.
He's my heater. He was distracting Shango for me.
Like, I don't get a hi, hello, kiss my ass, nothing. Yo, he stared down Shango. Did you see the stare down between him and Shango, JT?
No, I missed it.
Yeah, man.
Oh, my God.
Shango was in that six-man tag, and TJ ran his mouth. Shango turned around and said something about cupcakes and asses. I don't know. I didn't hear it all, but...
Yeah, I think TJ called him a cupcake, and Shango said the last time I was called a cupcake was when I was eating your mom's ass last night. Yeah, he was pretty vile.
Yeah, Chrissy Richards chimes in. My love to Chrissy. Chrissy, I love you for chiming in. Before leaving a comment, please grant StreamYard permission to see your name at the StreamYard.com/Facebook.
Otherwise, you're going to be Facebook user.
Yes, thank you, Chrissy, for that. Thank you, Chrissy, for that. Yeah, man, text your people and text everybody that's texting you and tell them what I said. Instead of going on around the turnbuckle, tell them to find me on my personal one, because that's where everybody's chiming in at.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
JT is not the star I am. TJ is too busy getting his perm right. Keith, you say my name with some damn respect.
Very hostile man. Very hostile.
Well, you know,
TJ versus Shango. When? Hell in a Cell?
I'm gonna go with TJ on that one.
Yo, man, we're going off the rails. Yeah, man, we're going off the rails. Jamie says, "Don't." I got a message here from Kyle's mom, because she's not getting the whole joining it thing. So I'm going to read this, okay? Okay. So Kyle's mother, Jamie, says, I don't know how to join in, but I am watching. Thank you for the tribute. Jamie, again, just like Veronica, my heart is with you and the family. I love you, and I will see you. I will see you on Friday, and we'll talk all the good stuff, man. We'll talk all the Kyle you want. So you had your match with your trainer 5 years ago. So 5 years later, where are you at? How do you feel?
I feel pretty confident now. Now that I know who I am as a wrestler, and actually it helped me find myself outside of wrestling too. You know what I mean? Doing things with purpose and making stuff that makes sense. And I'm just confident now. I'm just confident in everything that I do, the way I walk, the way I talk. It's more of a confidence thing. And you have to go out there and literally just steal the show and literally just be you. The fans don't know, what's supposed to happen. So you just have to go out there and just believe. Believability is really what I say. And I think everything that I do is believable. Even with a little shucking and jiving and laughing and joking here and there. But when it's time to kick ass, I'm kicking ass, So I don't know. I just think the confidence level is a lot higher now. And I don't think I'm an egotistical guy. Like, I feel like I can walk into a room and talk to anybody. And
yeah, I get that about you.
You know what I mean? It's never been an ego thing for me, because although I am getting these accolades with being a professional wrestler, I'm still a man. I'm still human. Yeah. So I like to treat people of such. Even guys who look up to me, I still like, hey, I'm still a human.
Shango wants to know, what's your best wrestling memory so far?
I have two. The first one is my first time wrestling in Chicago. Now, obviously, this was in 2018. I found myself by then. I knew who JT Funk was, so I was confident in my ability.
Yeah.
But I was a little nervous because I've heard a lot about Chicago fans, and I'm like, they want super indie. I'm not, most of my matches are not super indie. It's not spot here, spot there, spot here, spot there. Super kick here, I super kick him, he super kick me back. It's not a super indie. My match style is not super indie. So I was a little concerned. I'm like, man, maybe I have to go out there and be a little super indie. And I was nervous, but from the time I walked out, they loved me, and I got a standing ovation when I left. It was
nice.
Amazing. That was my first best memory. And then my second best memory was I had a feud with a guy by the name of Frankie Picard. He wrestles for CZW. That's what he's known for. And we had like a 3-month run feud, and it was just beautifully well written. I went to CZW and I wrestled. I was a champion at my local promotion, so I went there. I lost the championship to Frankie there, and then I came back a week later and wrestled him again. It was a disqualification, and then it was like a build up to this big show, and he shot a promo with my ex-girlfriend at the time, and it appeared that that they were messing around. It was just so cool because people thought it was legit.
Yeah, legit, right?
It was phenomenal because he was like, "Hey, would you mind if I shoot this promo with your girl?" And I just walk up to her.
Yeah.
And I'm walking with her, and she's acting. I'm like whispering, and I'm like, "Yeah, people will believe that."
Oh man.
So it was just so many real factors that was so cool that this is like my first real feud.
That's instant heat, man.
Yeah, and so many people knew about this feud because we were going at it on Facebook. It was just so real. It was so real, and it was my first main event. It was the first match that it's the first time I've been put through a table. It's the first match that I put somebody through a table. It was just, this was the final match, and I won the title back, and it was like a huge standing ovation. So my grandmother was there, all my siblings. It was phenomenal. It was my first main event. I had all the kids coming out with me with JT Funk shirts. It was big. It was like our WrestleMania moment.
Nice.
And so yeah, that's probably my other favorite memory.
What would you consider him your best opponent so far? Who you had the best chemistry with?
Yes and no. I say yes because obviously the feud, I couldn't have done it by myself, obviously. And the stuff that he was doing and antagonizing me on Facebook. Yeah, but I say no because his type of style is like super indie, and we were somehow able to pull it off in our match, but he's like a super indie guy, and that's kind of not my style. So
yeah,
but it was good though. It was good.
My son says I was disappointed because I was expecting Shango to chair shot TJ or something, not just, and all we got was a damn stare down. Now I want an Extreme Rules match.
He's one of those guys. He's one of those kids that think the young schmucks are like the greatest thing in wrestling ever. That was
yeah. Listen, son. We're talking JT Funk, not Shango and TJ. That's another show.
Yeah, we'll get Shango back on here to get that.
We're gonna have Shango back.
At some point.
We're gonna have Shango back September 19th, and we'll talk all about TJ that you want. Victor liked that one.
Yeah, he laughed.
Victor liked that one, right? All right, man. So listen, we do a thing with everybody that we have on, right? Mm-hmm. And Keith knows what I'm talking about. We're gonna put this up here. If you could wrestle anybody in the world, alive, dead, retired, or still wrestling, who would that be? And after you answer that, we're gonna give you our dream match opponent for you.
Just one though, right? Because I have two. But
BJ did a triple threat, right, Keith? Or did he did?
I think so. He did a Shango did a four-way.
Yeah, he picked three people, so you pick as many as you want.
Okay, I only got two.
Triple threat.
Okay, we'll go with a triple threat match. But Dolph Ziggler, obviously, because he's like, I feel like that dream is realistic. I can really make that happen. You know what I mean? And The Rock, obviously, which.
Listen, JT, I just fell in love with you because Dolph Ziggler is my favorite wrestler.
Yeah, Dolph Ziggler is the guy. He won't give up the dream on Dolph Ziggler, no matter how much shit they shovel on that guy. He's still like, Dolph could still be good. He could still be okay. He could still come out of us. He could still be like a 15-time champion and the greatest ever.
So The Rock and Dolph Ziggler and you in a triple threat.
Yeah, I'll take that.
I'd watch that any day.
Yeah.
Yo, my wife never chimes in. She laughed at that one. She laughed at the Dolph Ziggler thing.
Because she knows one day, if Dolph's willing, you're going to run away.
I met
I have
him.
to give you that one.
I met him. JT, I met him at Comic-Con, Philadelphia, man. The guy was awesome.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, but there's still that pesky restraining order. That pesky restraining order.
Stop. All right. So, if JT could wrestle any other performer in the world right now, that's what we're asking him.
I think he kind of answered that because he went with Dolph, and if you're saying anybody that's
besides
attainable, anybody
okay,
attainable.
I have another one. If it's not those two, Leo Rush, because
okay.
You guys would match up well.
A lot of my family and friends always like, oh man, I think you and him would kill it.
You would.
It's not just for me. It's just a lot of people always say that to me.
Yo, Victor likes laughing. He keeps commenting. He's laughing at all this, man. All right,
fun.
Keith, I'll let you go first. Give me a dream opponent for this guy.
The name that popped into my head immediately looking at your style, you and Scorpio. Scorpio in his prime. You guys, I think, could tear it up. And that would be great for you because Scorpio did a lot of what you're doing. He kind of blazed the trail, and I think that would be a great learning experience for you. Getting in there with somebody like that.
You do know that he was called Flash Funk, right?
Wow.
Is that coincidence?
I'm not saying because of the Flash Funk thing.
Is that coincidence? JT Funk versus Flash Funk? Or
that'll be money.
I said Too Cold Scorpio.
You did say Too Cold Scorpio.
Not PG Pimp Flash Funk. Hashtag PG Pimp.
Okay. So I got a name for you.
I'm listening.
I think that you would have an unbelievable match with Daniel Bryan.
Yeah. I think you guys wouldn't really clash.
I think you guys would kill it.
A little faster.
I think you guys would your styles would kill it. I think you guys would blow the roof off. That would be a mania caliber match.
Absolutely, I would love to. Yeah, he's one of the guys I get the with him being that size, it's just the believability because when I watch Daniel Bryan, I believe everything that he's doing, and he's a lot smaller than me. So how can this guy that small get so much believability out of everything he does? He's so intense. So
Godfather. What?
Godfather was not the.
Victor,
Godfather was not the PG pimp. Flash Funk was the PG pimp.
Yes.
He was like the proto Godfather.
Yes. My wife is chiming in again. No, I was laughing at Alan the third's comment about TJ, but Keith is correct. You'd run away with Ziggler if given the chance.
Exactly. We all know.
Listen, I also love the Queen, but I know I got a better chance with Ziggler than the Queen.
That's fair.
Truth. Yeah.
I know
Charlotte's never going to see this. Dave Dilly says, Pentagon Jr., have you seen any of his work?
Yes, I have. I'm not really a fan of it because it's super indie,
Yeah.
I don't really watch. Like the Young Bucks, I don't really watch them. It's super indie.
Keith just fell in love with you. He's not a big fan of the Young Bucks.
Yeah, I mean, I get why people are into it, but to me, like you say, super indie, no psychology, spot. Let's kick out of finishers. Let's destroy finishes. And to me, it makes it harder for everybody else because if you see, and again, I don't want to be a sizist and that guy and all that, but like you say, there's a believability factor. If guys the size of the Young Bucks are throwing tombstones and super kicks and all this crazy shit, and everybody's kicking out of it, how do you turn around, or almost anybody else turn around, and in the same show, forget about it, and try to convince anybody like, no, my tombstone beats people.
Right.
My tombstone works. Like, how does it not make your opponent that takes the pin on that look like a plate of piss? Because, like, wait a minute, this guy that was way smaller working with the Young Bucks over here is kicking out of it like it's nobody's business. So either your opponent looks like a jackass or losing to it, or the Bucks look like idiots because they can't throw it right to beat somebody. But it seems like because the Bucks have this immunity to them, it's the other way around. It's the guy who gets beat with it looks like the idiot versus, to me, the Bucks should look like the idiots because they're the guys that can't beat anybody with it.
Anybody watching have a dream opponent for my man? Go ahead, throw them at me. And anybody has well wishes for Kyle's family, throw them at me too.
Anyone who wants to shit on the Young Bucks or shit on me for shitting on the Young Bucks.
Anybody wants to shit on Keith for shitting on the Young Bucks, you can throw that too.
Because I know they have their fans. And they're certainly not going to be fans of me.
So I just want to take the spot out of me just for a brief minute or so in regards to you guys. I know we spoke a little bit about it yesterday, but how did you guys find wrestling? Keith, you go first.
He's flipping the switch, Keith. He's interviewing us now.
Yep.
I'm ready. Go ahead.
He's confident.
Go ahead. How'd you find wrestling?
How did I?
Yeah, he said you first.
So my brother was a fan first. My brother was a big fan of Hulk Hogan, and me kind of being contrarian and all that. So we were about 6 or 7 at that point. You know, I'm like, oh, screw Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan sucks. So I'd root for anybody that would work against Hulk Hogan. And I saw Andre the Giant, and I was like, that guy is cool. And then later on, I saw The Ultimate Warrior, and I'm like, that guy is really cool because the superhero come to life. And I've always loved superheroes. I still love superheroes and all that. Like, most of these bookshelves and things over here, there's superhero comics and all that on there. But when I saw The Undertaker, the funeral parlor in 92, where he has the Warrior on, and he comes out of the casket, and he ambushes the Warrior and stuffs him in that casket, and Paul Bearer locks it, and you got Paul Bearer with the creepy face and the urn and everything else. I looked at my brother and I'm like, who is that guy? That guy I want to watch more of. So I mean, it was The Undertaker. Once I saw The Undertaker, I was hooked. I was like, I'll sit down and I'll start watching this if I can get more of that guy. And then I started to see all the other characters were coming out. I fell in love with tag team wrestling. I'm still a sucker for a good tag team match, and it just took off from there.
Wow, that's cool.
All right, you want my answer now? Is it my turn?
Yes.
Okay. So, when I was around 7 or 8 years old, circa 1984, my stepfather took me to the Agricultural Hall in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and I saw Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant teaming up against King Kong Bundy and Big John Studd. And I was 7 or 8 years old, so you can imagine how big they were already big guys. So you can imagine how larger than life they look to an 8-year-old, right? Then the next thing you know, I started watching Superstars of Wrestling on Saturday mornings, and I came across a segment called Piper's Pit. And Rowdy Roddy Piper had on as his guest Jimmy Superfly Snuka. And he smashed a coconut across the guy's head. And that moment where he smashed the coconut, thanks, Floyd, where he smashed the coconut over his head, I was hooked. I was like, okay, I'm going to tune in next week because I want to see what happens next.
Wow.
And I loved it ever since. Piper's Pit, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage, Andre the Giant, Big John Studd, King Kong Bundy, Nikolai Volkov, the Iron Sheik, Bob Backlund, the Wild Samoans, the Hart Foundation, the British Bulldogs, all the stars from the 80s, they got me in. And there wasn't any of them where I was like, oh, I don't like this guy, I'm not going to watch it. Sure, I booed the heels and cheered Hulk Hogan like every other kid. But, I mean, if I saw a heel that I thought was really good, like Ted DiBiase or Roddy Piper when he was, I appreciated that, man, he's actually really good. Yeah. And that's what got me hooked. Fast forward to the Attitude Era, where I had 2 TVs in my bedroom to watch WCW Nitro and Raw at the same time during the Monday Night Wars. Mm-hmm. And what a time to be a wrestling fan. What a time to be a wrestling fan. That was so much fun because they were always trying to outdo each other. They were always dropping little subtle lines about, Bischoff would come on and Tony Schiavone would tell you the results of Raw. Raw was taped. And I mean, there was crazy moments like Medusa showing up with the women's title, dropping it in a trash can. I mean, crazy stuff. Scott Hall and Kevin Nash showing up on Nitro. Hulk Hogan turning on the Macho Man, and the Macho Man was my guy. Hulk Hogan turning on the Macho Man and joining the NWO. All those moments. Mick Foley running around with the title, yelling, "Yo, Adrian, I did it." I mean, all that. Stone Cold beating Shawn Michaels at Mania 14. I can go on and on and on and on, but no matter what happens, like today's product is not what it used to be.
And
but no matter what happens,
I wanted to piggyback off that before I forget. I think that's what I, and Keith have in common with a lot. Like when I started watching wrestling during the Invasion angle, so it was Love Piper Spit. Hey Gordon.
Yes. Hey Gordon.
Yeah, so like basically, when you guys first started watching it, and even when I started watching it, which I think we all have in common, was that
facts.
Although it was one person that we looked and like, oh, I like this. We followed the show and seen all these other gimmicks and characters like, oh, they're cool too. Like DX, well, DX were broken up at the time. But it was Booker T, it was The Rock, it was Stone Cold, it was Chris Jericho. And, obviously I went back and looked at the Attitude Era, but at the time it was the Brothers of Destruction. It was the 2 Power Men trip. Like, I was like, wow, this is freaking cool. You know what I mean? And WWE might be put out of business. And it was just so fun. It was so many different variables that it was like, wow, like, this is really cool.
Real.
So.
Yeah.
You know who would have joined the NWO if Hogan had backed out? Who would have been the third man?
Sting?
You guys know that? Yeah, it would have been Sting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard of that.
Would have been a very different angle.
You tried to do a Professor Factoid there. We already knew, bud.
I'm just saying, maybe the audience didn't know.
Sting ended up in the NWO anyway.
Maybe he could stop being, horrible to me. I'm just saying.
Sting ended up in the NWO eventually, right?
Yeah.
He did, and I think that was one of the problems.
JT Funk talking good, yes.
I mean, that was one of the things that really brought the NWO down.
He wants us to shut up.
Everybody joined it.
The audience wants us to shut up and let JT just interview us.
I didn't know JT was auditioning for a spot on the show.
Yo, man, hey.
May have to make him permanent.
He's doing great. I love him, and he's great to talk to. And I could talk wrestling with this guy all day. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'll wait for some more good questions though.
So back to the current product, as you were saying. Yes, we might not like what's going on right now. Like it's all kind of goofy, and you can blame some of it on the pandemic, but you can also blame some of it on the fact that Vince McMahon is getting old and crazy, and he has for a few years now, and he's got his hand in NXT, where when Triple H was more in charge of NXT, you could see a difference from NXT 2 or 3 years ago until now. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, we did not miss a takeover. This past takeover, we did not like, Keith, right?
I wasn't a fan. I wasn't a fan of the in your house takeover concept. I thought that would have been better for the main roster or something like that. I mean, and look, in fairness to Vince, it happens to everybody. It happens to every booker. You hit the wall, you burn out. That's tough. That's tough to sit there and try to do television every week.
Yeah.
And Vince does more television than any territory booker ever did. Territory bookers had to, save the creativity for the show, but they were running 2-3 times a month, and television was basically squash matches to be like, oh, and by the way, you can see Dusty Rhodes, at the Memorial Coliseum taking on Ric Flair for the NWA title, and that's where you made the money.
Right.
And Vince is having to produce pay-per-view quality television because of the Attitude Era basically killed the squash match. And I mean, I give him all the credit in the world for that, but the problem is that he is not constitutionally able to relinquish control and to
Me
let
too,
somebody else
Victor.
do it.
Me too. I love that this guy smiles a lot. I love
Yeah.
it.
He's got to.
He's camera ready, man.
But you know, every booker burns out. I mean, in Memphis, famously, that's why Jerry Jarrett and Jerry Lawler would switch off every 6 months, because they figured out that was about the time that either one of them would run out of ideas and run out of steam, and the one that was sitting on the sidelines would go, "I've been watching what you're doing, and it gave me a burst of creativity and a ton of ideas that I want to put in place when I get my turn again."
Keith, I think this is directed to you.
Okay.
Alan says, and we're covering JT up a little bit, but Alan says, goofy isn't even a bad thing, though. Wrestling is entertainment. As long as the product entertains, the performers are doing their job, goofy or not, and the goofy moments make the actual good matches look even that much better.
If Goofy is in the right spot, if Goofy is in your main event, if I'm supposed to take your main event talent seriously, and they're having a match where it's pinfall, submission, or throw a guy into a tub of alcoholic orange juice,
Stop.
we have a problem.
Stop.
I don't care. I'm triggering the boy. He tried
I
to
know,
trigger
but
me. I'm
stop.
going back at him.
Stop with the mimosa.
He's an
Stop.
adult now.
Stop.
It's not child abuse anymore.
Yeah, he is 20, JT. He is 20.
Oh, okay.
All right, so JT, back to you. Okay. Where do you see JT Funk in a year?
I never really thought about it. Obviously, it's something that's on my mind every now and again, but I haven't really had a well thought out process on that. I would like to honestly see myself on.
Yes. Yeah, Alex, go ahead. I'm sorry. My wife said, "Isn't he supposed to be working?" Yes, dear. He's supposed to be working.
I don't want to be picked up immediately. I don't want to be signed in a year from now. I don't think I'm ready.
No.
As I mentioned, last night when I spoke to you, I don't think I'm ready for television. But I still want to travel to different countries and wrestle first.
Yeah.
I don't want to sign any contracts, and I don't want anybody to own the rights.
That's brilliant.
I'm actually in the process of getting JT Funk copywritten, so
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because I want this to be worth something. And yes. you got to help me out with that.
So I mean that's another thing I wanted to kind of get at. I'm glad we're on a topic, but I was asked the question, what are my goals in professional wrestling?
Yes.
And I think the most it was to get signed, obviously, but I think the more and more I thought about it, now my goal is to specifically make JT Funk a brand, not just a wrestler, just a brand. You know what I mean? Because if I'm no longer wrestling, guess what? The brand still lives. You know what I mean? So
we're building one, right, Keith?
Absolutely. I mean, he's right. Hulk Hogan hasn't stepped in the ring in how many years, but he can still sell shit branded Hulk Hogan. Exactly. He can still sell stuff that's branded Hulk Hogan. Kevin Nash or Scott Hall, they chose to do it. They can do it. Look at DDP. Right. DDP is a perfect example of that. That he took the name, he took the goodwill he had in that name, and he created a lifestyle brand out of it. So I'm right there with you. That is the smartest thing I think I've heard almost anybody say on this show is I'm going to take my time. I'm going to hone my craft.
Yes.
I'm going to copyright my name. I'm going to make sure that I always own that and nobody else owns that.
So where would you go, man? I mean, where would you go? What are you thinking? Japan or where?
I really want to go to Germany for some reason.
Really?
It's just the wrestling scene over there is amazing.
Right.
I would love to go over there, but
some big dudes over there, no, right?
Yeah. But it's super indie over there too. But I'm sure if I come there and I do something different, I'll stand out, right?
Yes.
Are they still doing tournaments and rounds over there? I've always heard that was the big thing with Germany, like Otto Wands and all that.
Yeah,
it was always about the tournament style and doing that stuff. And I think that would be great to go learn and get the cardio and whatnot out of that, of wrestling multiple times a night.
Yes.
That can't help but make you better.
Yes, absolutely. And so I mean that's why I have the logo on the back of my jacket when I come out, that logo. And also got a logo design. So
I love the jacket. I love the logo. I love it all.
On my trunks, it has JT Funk with the logo. So I'm just trying to market myself, just try to be different because, you know, the average indie wrestler is not thinking marketing their stuff. They just coming out there. They don't have identifying who they are or, you know, so.
Yep. Yeah, man. So I want to tell our audience right now that if anybody missed the tribute to Kyle McDevitt, I will be playing that at the very end again to lead us out. JT, when we do that, stick around. I still want to talk to you for a minute.
Okay, that's fine.
So you see yourself in a year overseas. That's what you're saying. You're seeing, yeah.
Absolutely.
And I mean, I think that shows maturity, right, Keith? About he says he's not ready. You know, he's not telling the world he's the greatest. He's saying that he knows he needs work, that he has something, but it just needs a little, you know, a little grinding the gears a little bit, you know, a little work, and he'll be right there, man.
A little bit more experience.
And it shows too. It shows you're coachable, which is what any major company is going to look for.
Yes.
Are you going to walk in the door and when they tell you what you do wrong, are you going to be able to sit there and say, okay, I'll take that on board, and next time I do that, you're going to see me do it perfectly, exactly the way it should be done and the way you want it done. Because you get to, you know, especially if you get to WWE, it's what they want. You know, because they've gotten themselves into that position where they can say, you know,
I think
when I say jump, you say how high.
Yeah, I think that even though he thinks he's not ready yet, in a year or two when he goes overseas and gets this experience, he would rock it in AEW. Am I wrong in saying that? I think he would. I think he would be a major player in AEW.
No, I mean, 5 years it used to be, you know, way back in the day when it was harder to get in the business and it was territories. 5 years was you have just ended your rookie period and now you're there.
My wife, the secretary, says, get a follow-up interview lined up for a year from now in the books.
I would like to come back on sooner.
No, yeah. Oh, dude, I will have you. My man, I will have you on anytime you want. You have been a delight.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, man. Thank you. The only issue I have right now is all my people, fans, and friends, and like I don't know where they at. I've invited everybody, so I'm like, but
the problem is, and we've been having this problem. The problem is if they're watching on Around the Turnbuckle, sometimes their comments don't come through, and the only way I can fix that is for them to be, you know. And I'm going to do this for, you know, future guests. Make sure that they watch it on my personal thing because my personal thing is public.
Got you.
And that's why a lot of them are having trouble getting through.
Got you. Okay. I'm still happy to be here, though. I'm enjoying myself.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, you're throwing some great.
Says shoot for New Japan and then come back. I don't know who that was. That's another Facebook user. You need to back out of this live stream and click that StreamYard link, accept the terms, and we'll be able to see who you are.
Yeah, I'm not high on New Japan Pro because, again, it's super indie.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be opposed to it. If I got the opportunity, I would go. But that's not a place I'm aiming to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That makes sense?
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
No, I like the whole German idea. I was thinking to myself, I don't know too much about like German wrestling. You know more than I do.
Oh, me? No, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know much about it, but I've seen a couple of my friends that went over there, and just the pictures and photos and stuff. So I was just mesmerized. Like I haven't really done my research on it, but I just know like.
All right. Well, my mom says it was Dave Dilly that last shoot for a New Japan Wrestling thing, but the thing is,
that's weird because Dave knows how to use this.
Yeah, and Dave was on earlier. Dave had a comment earlier, so I don't know if that was Dave Dilly.
Why is your mom talking like Yoda? David Dilly it was.
I think that was a typo, but it was nice to see a Yoda reference there. Sure. Talk to you later. I will. All right, Keith. What else you got, man? We're running. We got like five minutes.
So I mean, you're talking about Germany, you're talking about going around the world. Let's talk about, you've wrestled all over the country, and I don't know how many of our guests have done that. And I think people
Sorry,
don't
Dave.
and I think people don't realize, because they're so used to WWE or AEW, they don't realize different parts of the country respond to different things. That wrestling a match in, say, a wrestling saturated area like New York, Philadelphia, even us up here, we get all kinds of wrestling. Every indie wants to run up here, after ECW closed and all that. That's a great question. Do you have
Yeah,
a
there's a
5-year
question for you,
plan?
JT.
Do
Where
you
do
want
you
to be
see
a
yourself in
champion
5 years?
then?
Yeah. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Do you see a belt around your waist?
Well, 5 years, I foresee myself being signed by then.
Yeah.
I will probably have a belt if I'm
I got a title for you, man. Ready?
Yeah.
In 5 years, you'll be TNT champion in AEW.
That's possible. That's definitely feasible. But to piggyback off what Professor Keith said in regards to the saturated areas, that's what I kind of wanted to touch on. Because a lot of guys, they get so comfortable in their home area and just where they at, and they don't try to venture out and get over somewhere else. You can get over where you're from, but if you get over somewhere where nobody knows you or if nobody's seen you live, then you're onto something. You know what I mean? Because this is the first time they've seen you and they don't know you. They don't know what you're capable of. So I just think I have that ability. No matter what show I'm going, I can get myself over. I might not have the match of the night, but I'll get myself over.
Yes.
Like, who is this kid? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's so important.
We were watching live last night, man, and we want to see more.
Thank you, man.
So if anybody hasn't seen him before, go see him before he disappears and goes to Germany, because the man is talented and he's fun to watch. Fun to watch.
Yeah, I take this very, like I told you yesterday, I take this very serious, and I want to be the best, and I put in a lot of hard work to train.
Yo, your work ethic is unbelievable. I love it. You wrestled last night, and then you got back in the ring this morning and been wrestling all day. I mean, that's awesome.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. And it's more for it. I mean, I like to train, and I think it's important.
Okay, Al.
However, like, I feel like now with me being in for 5 years, and I kind of agree with the rookie with that term. After 5 years, you're not a rookie anymore. Even though I still feel like a rookie because. And so I'm like coming here to pretty much help out, but I love the business so much that I want to give back, and I feel like I know a lot now that I can give back, and I want these people to succeed. You know what I mean? So it's fun for me.
You know what's cool about you? I can see you getting signed by somebody, having a successful career, and then coming back, and your way of giving back is you end up being a trainer.
Possible. I don't like being in one spot, so I'll probably pay my trainer to.
No, I'm talking about I'm talking about when you can't physically go anymore.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hands down, yes.
I see that about you. You have that. I can see it you have that leadership quality. You have the right mindset, man. I mean, you're very mature for somebody who's only been in the business for 5 years. You have goals, and you are very driven, and I love that. And I love the passion you have.
Right.
Man, we got a lot of guys on here, Keith, that have passion, but this guy, man, he has such a passion for the business.
So and he's smart too. With copyright stuff, he's smart. He's building up beyond even wrestling.
Copyright JT Funk. ASAP.
I'm working on it.
And I want a T-shirt.
I got you. I just wanted to touch up on something before thing goes off for any indie wrestlers out there or indie wrestler that wants to get into the business or whatever. The most important thing. Okay, granted, it is cool to be talented in the ring. It is talented to have a cool gimmick, But I think with all that in mind about me, JT Funk, that's cool and everything. But I feel like a lot of the opportunities that I've gotten, World Championship, different title belts, I think it's because the way I conduct myself in and outside of the ring, which is important. Like, a promoter can come to me and say, hey, listen, I got this idea. Instead of me saying, no, I don't want to do it, I say, okay, I like parts of that idea, but what can we do collectively to make it work? You know, I'm not trying to be difficult, or I don't want to do that like that, you know, because I was suggested the idea of actually turning the heel. And they were like insisted on the idea, and I was like, listen, you know, with all due respect, I just don't think I'm gonna make you money with me being a heel, and it doesn't make sense because, you know, I'm still a hot baby face, you know.
It's not you.
You know, so
Yeah.
I was just trying to plead my case.
It's not you.
Yeah, so just,
Anybody
you know,
listening, trying to talk my man into being heel, shut the hell up. It's not him, okay?
I mean, maybe eventually, but you're right. You've still got miles and miles to go with the baby face right now, and that's great too. Understanding that audience.
You know
and
how
where
good
that
you are,
audience
man?
is and where the money is.
You know how good you are?
how?
I bought this before I even saw you wrestle. That's how good you are.
I just think it's that relationship we built.
Yes, man. Yes. So yeah, you got to let me know when you're wrestling again, because me and Keith are going to be ringside.
Okay. Awesome.
All right. So we're going to wrap this up. Keith, do you have any parting gifts?
Thank you for coming on, JT. Thank you for being so giving with your time. I hope there are some indie wrestlers, whether you're wrestling now or you're aspiring to do it.
Hi,
I hope
Dinah.
Hi, Dina.
Dina.
I hope you're watching this show because this guy's throwing some pearls of wisdom out there. You know, get your stuff copyrighted, invest in yourself. And I think that's the big takeaway from that's kind of a theme of everything JT is saying.
Yeah, man.
Believe in yourself, invest in yourself. Don't let somebody else control your career. And that last piece of advice, that was so great. You know, that was something that launched Mick Foley in WWE. Is they gave him a gimmick that he knew was going to be death. And instead of saying, no, I won't do it, and that would have been the end of the meeting, and he would have hit the bricks, and God knows where he would have gone, he said, I like it, but what if we did this? What if we did that? What if we worked together and collaboratively found the best
Love you,
outcome?
mother.
I mean, everything he's saying, it works. It's proven that it works.
Right. Absolutely.
And so my final thing on you, man, is I'm going to echo everything Keith just said. Throughout this interview, we tried to talk about you. And through getting to know you, we realized that you have lots of maturity for where you are in the business. You have goals. You have, concern for your fellow wrestler. You're trying to give guys advice that are trying to get into this business before you even before you even make a name for yourself. That's amazing. That's amazing to me. Oh, shit.
He's so humble. He gave us the last few minutes.
Yo, JT, can you hear us? Because we can't see you. Nope.
No, his mic went too.
Yep. Well,
I can say he's so giving. You know, he gave us the last couple minutes to just.
We'll give him a minute, Keith.
All right.
To see if he comes back. He is trying. I can tell everybody that's watching that he is trying to come back and say goodbye. But if we lost him for good, and he might try to come back, to finish what I was saying, the kid is not only talented in and outside the ring, and he has passion for the business. He has every tool you need to succeed. He's got the look. He works out every day. He invests the time and puts the work in, so he deserves a damn contract as soon as he wants it, as soon as he thinks he's ready. And that's all I'll say about JT Funk unless he comes back and says goodbye. So I'm going to wrap this up, Keith, with thank you for your words for my cousin Kyle.
Of course.
And JT is trying one last time, folks, to come back to the stream. He is back.
Oh, there he
Yo,
is.
man.
I'm sorry about that. I don't know what the heck happened, but I had to come back and close in my little comment.
It's cool. Yo, I'm so glad that we didn't sign off before you came back, because I wanted you to hear me say that we appreciate you. We appreciate your talent. We appreciate your goals. We appreciate the mindset you have, man. And if you're not signed by somebody when you think you're ready, there's something wrong with the world, because you have it all. You have the tools, the talent, the ambition, the drive, the work ethic. You deserve a contract as soon as you think you're ready to get one.
Right. Thank you.
And you're a team player, and not a lot of guys in wrestling, outside of wrestling, can say that they're truly team players.
Yep.
Right. Thank you.
So, man, don't go away. I'm going to wrap this up.
Okay.
Everybody watching, thank you so much for your comments. Please subscribe. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, to our YouTube channel, Around the Turnbuckle. Hit that notification bell. That ticker's been going on the whole entire time. If you like our show, if you are a wrestler and you want to be a guest, hit me up personally. I'm telling you, send me a direct message. JT will attest. I will reply. I will reply.
We want to get your name out there. We want to help.
We want to get the indies out there, man. We fully support our indies. We're starting in PA, but man, we're going to branch out, and I hope we get some indie stars eventually from all over the nation, man. I love talking to you guys about wrestling. Elizabeth, hi, Elizabeth. That's my daughter. That's my 3-year-old daughter. Liz says hi, Daddy. Hi, baby. I'll be downstairs in a minute. So we're going to end this with the tribute I started with my cousin Kyle. Thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you for all your comments. I apologize to anybody watching this on the replay that didn't get the comment or that wanted to watch and throw comments JT's way. I'm sorry. Technical difficulties. We'll work on it. We are working on it. JT, you were a pleasure.
Thank you.
I want to have you on again.
Thank you.
Yes, I want to have you on again. And I'm going to say, guys, this Saturday, 6 o'clock, Around the Turnbuckle, when our guest will be Rebecca Payne. This Saturday, 6 o'clock, Rebecca Payne, Queen of the Death Match. She cannot wait. She cannot wait to come on. She was supposed to be on several weeks ago. She can't wait. Don't forget to tune in to Clock Watch tonight, 9 p.m. Also tune in to Clock Watch, Power P Monday at 9, Tuesday at 9, Clock Watch again, and Wednesday, 12 noon, Spittin' with Spitter. And to everybody else, I love everybody. To the McDevitt family, I love you. I hope you enjoyed the tribute. JT, don't go anywhere. I'm going to play that tribute to my cousin Kyle one last time for everybody who didn't get to see it. And JT, thank you so much for coming on, my man.
Listen, thank you for having me. I had a good time. And I just wanted to say, for everyone that's watching this, if you want to check out some JT Funk merch, you can go at Facebook, which is JT Funk. And in that description box, you have my links of all my merch. My Instagram and my Twitter is at the JT Funk. That's THEJTFUNK.
There it is. There it is. And with that, we'll see you next time, folks, on Around the Turnbuckle.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
JT, let's give him one, my man. EAGLES, Eagles!
Yeah!